me an HTML code, so I don't think it was. Okay, now let's get to a few questions, or should we? Well, let's just look at the different types of questions we did, maybe, and then we will wind up for the day. I'll do one thing. I'll try to make some sample question papers you can work on, practice on. And one thing is, I know it's a minor subject maybe for many of you, but it's always, I would love if you all of you get 100% in the entire paper. And it's easy as well, not much. You don't have to sweat much to get it. So please work harder. Would love to see that. Would love to leave with that good memory from the college. Okay. Anyway, now getting back to our business, let me share my screen. All right, let's start from day 0. Okay, so we started with this. We started with what is well management, some words, and we discussed quite a lot about what is the spelling of principal or principal. And we also touched a bit of English, homophones, homonyms, and different things. Mainly, I spoke about it because I was taking a class on general English, vocabulary to a bunch of people those days. And that's why all these were things that caught my attention quite a lot when I was teaching you that those days. Okay. Now, we talked about simple interest, compound interest. Then some problems we did include comparing which is better. Should I deposit in compound interest or simple interest? We spoke about when is what. When we did different cases were simple interest was beneficial, compound interest was beneficial, and we did quite a lot of experiment before confirming. For example, in our first case here, 5,000 rupees deposited, even though simple interest had a higher interest, and uh, even compounded 4 times a year, yeah, compounded 4 times a year, we had a higher interest coming through compound interest in 2 years. And turns out in some other cases, simple interest was better than compound interest. So that's one possible calculation you might have to do. And then again, we recollected and we did more problems on the calculations on this simple interest and compound interest. Then we talked about simple interest and compound interest again. But what we did is, what if one value, that is, you're given the maturity amount, but not the other factors, like suppose years of deposit and rate of interest and everything is given, principal is given, but years of deposit is not given. How do you find that years of deposit? Reworking the formula which we already have. All right, now then we mixed up what if interest was missing and rest of the things were given. And we did a few problems on that. And further, sorry, excuse me for a second. Then we looked at some wonderful sequences puzzles, and turns out we found that idea of geometric progression can be applied in compound interest. Suppose you are going to periodically invest a certain amount. The idea of compound interest helps us find the maturity amount. Idea of compound interest and geometric progression together helps us find the maturity amount at the end of these many years. Now, one beautiful thing that you should notice, many of you might have asked, why am I learning this arithmetic progression, geometric progression in school? Where am I ever going to use? The answer is quite easy, that even though it looked highly unlikely then, you have it coming in your finance, or most probably even in your daily lives. All right. So the thing is, most of the math you learned in school are taught to you because that that helps you with math you're going to, or any field you pick, whatever you're going to learn, it helps you understand it better. Like in this case, turns out finance and math are connected. That is, something as simple as geometric progression are connected. Well, we did a few problems on that, and then we went ahead to more problems on the same, I believe. Then we talked about sinking fund. That is, we need this much money at the end of this many years. How do you assure that we have that money? How much should we save every month or every year, such that at the end of this, at the end, we have the money we were planning to save. So for that, we had something called sinking funds, based on which we did the problems. We did a few problems, and then this was given as assignment. I believe I did it in the next class. Did I? Yeah, I did it in the next class before continuing. Now, then we had this question of changing rate of interest. The rate of interest kept what if it keeps changing? And we claimed that there's a formula. S is equal to, the interest is equal to x into 1 plus r1 to the power y, 1 plus r2 to the power n minus y. That is, for y years it is r1, for n minus y years it's r2. In that case, to find the rate of, the interest earned over the time. Then some problems based on that. And that concludes the first half. And I think there is one more topic there. Let's see. Yeah. We did more problems on this. Then we went ahead to annuity. Annuity is annual payments made. An annuity is a constant sum of money received or paid each year for given number of years. Annuity can be purchased in two ways. One is by single payment or number of payments over a given period of time. Well, we had an assessment formula to find the annuity factor, and we also learned to use the annuity table to find annuity factor. Then we did an example, a few examples. Well, that's pretty much about annuity beginning. Then we did a few examples on making conclusions with annuity. Now, we had something called a perpetuity, which is an annuity that continues, lasts forever. And the assessment formula was easy. PV is equal to 1 by R. Problems, I believe I did 2 or 3 problems. Yeah. Then we spoke about viability of a project, and we did a few problems on that. How do you check whether the project is viable after project is viable given the discount rate? So that was a set of problems we worked out. Well, then Yeah, I gave you a couple of problems to solve again. Then we talked about this is again perpetuity and annuity, and we did a problem based on this is quite an interesting problem and important problem. Work out these problems, understand how it works, and that will help you answer the questions better. Now, then here we are talking about how much we are saving every annum or a certain period of time for how many years at what interest. In that case, we talked about something similar to sinking fund, that is to find the fund at the end of 2 years or things of that sort. We did a lot of problems. Now, then we talked about mortgages. That is, it's not easy. Mortgages repayment is not easy. That usually involves calculating how much amount should be repaid at the end of the year. And for that, turns out we did it in two different ways, either using annuity factor or using annuity table. So then we did more problems about interest, loan, change of interest in loan, and left it with a extra question for you to solve. We had one session where we tried to summarize the entire thing, and I believe that almost concludes our syllabus and things that we have to discuss in the syllabus. So if you have any questions or anything, you can take a minute or two to quickly ask that. If not, if you're comfortable, you can send it by email. Uh, all right. Any questions? You can raise your hand or put it in chat box or okay, how else can you speak? Yeah, those are the only two ways. Anyway, I wish we could meet in person someday, but unfortunately, we didn't have a chance. Yes, uh, I only know your register number. Sorry, become B63.
Sir, that day I met you about the attendance issue, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You told me to meet later, but when I came to the staff room, you weren't there.
So the thing with attendance issue is it's not in my hands anymore. It is completely with COE because yeah, your maths department usually is a place which sticks to the rules quite hardly. So it's good if you go through COE because yeah, it's quite hard. I'm sorry. Yeah, and I was just distracted for a second. So maths department is where rules run as it is. So if you want me to change anything, that should be according to the instruction from COE. Yeah. So other than that, I'm sorry, I can't help. That's a rule. All right. Any questions? If not, I'll definitely send a feedback form in a day or two, and would love to hear your opinion on how the classes went. And I know I had to be quite strict with many of you when it comes to your assignments and I believe attendance. Thing is, rules are better followed, so I usually stick to it, and it's better in a longer run for you guys as well. So yeah, and as I usually give a promise to my students, now if you need anything, I hope to be there for you. You can always reach out. I'll try my best to help you out, depending on situation and everything. But you can count on me as a friend, a teacher, when you need. All right. Even though I haven't met most of you in person, that's an offer I would like to extend to each and every one of you. Okay. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And please do work well. Questions hopefully are easy. For BCom students, all these annuity, perpetuity, and mortgages and interest and all will be quite easy and trivial. So assure that you practice enough questions. I'll try to generate more questions for you. Practice enough questions before you go for exam. So all the best. Unless you have something to add, say, you're welcome to unmute or post in the chat box. All right, so all the best. With this small session, we'll wind up. I wanted to tell you guys this. Anyway, I'll send a feedback form. I would love if you guys respond to it. It won't be the official one. It would rather be my personal feedback form for me to know